the recording. There's an echo. Okay, the following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are 3 different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@yvcc.edu and I will respond as soon as I can. Today, we're going to be reviewing for the Chapter 8 test. And I believe it's about 18 or 20 questions that were emailed to me. So I've got lots to do. So we're going to get started. And the first thing we're going to look at, this is section 8.9. And let's see here. Can everybody see number 15 from WebAssign? Just somebody say yes to make sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Roger.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So problem number 15. It says, solve the problem by writing a variation model. The costs of a trucking company vary jointly as the number of trucks in service and the number of hours they are used. When 5 trucks are used for 7 hours each, the cost is $2,555. Find the cost of using 10 trucks each for 12 hours. All right. So first of all, let's see. Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Vary jointly. All right. So the cost, C, equals K. Remember the variation constant, rarely mentioned, but always there. Vary jointly as the number of trucks. So I'm going to use T for trucks and the number of hours they are used, H. So from that, I'm going to get C equals KTH. And I will switch screens here in a minute. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that now. So cost varies jointly as the number of trucks in service, T, and the number of hours, H, and then K, of course, is present, as I mentioned. When 5 trucks are used for 7 hours, so that means we've got, let's see, T is going to be 5, H is going to be 7. The cost is $2,555. $2,555. So we get the equation. $2,555 equals K times 5 times 7. Any questions so far? All right. On the right side, 5 times 7 is 35. So we could say 2555 equals 35K. We'll divide both sides by 35. And on our handy dandy calculator, we have 2555 divided by 35 is 73. So K equals 73. So now this becomes C equals 73 TH. We take the value of K and plug it into the general formula.
Wait, really quick. What does the K stand for again?
It's the variation constant. So it's a number that isn't going to change, but you have to find it unless it's given to you. And so you find it by plugging in values that are given for the other variables or for the variables.
Okay, so in like every equation like this, there's going to be a K, yes?
Yes. In all
Okay, thank
kinds of variation, there is K. K is always on top, always on.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now find the costs of using 10 trucks each for 12 hours. So we've got K equals 73 times 10 times 12, which is $8,760. Are we okay with that? Any questions about it before we go on? I'll take that as a no. All right. Next problem up, number 16. Let's look at that in WebAssign. And it says, Solve the problem by writing a variation model. The power in watts lost in a resistor in the form of heat varies directly as the square of the current in amperes, or amps being abbreviated, passing through it. The constant of proportionality, which is another name for the variation constant, is the resistance. What power is lost in a 6 ohm resistor carrying a 3 amp current? Okay. So let's see. Our key right here, it says varies directly. Okay. So the power, we're going to let P equal power. So the power varies directly as the square of the current, and I'm going to let C equal the current. Let's see. Constant of resistance, what power is lost? Okay, so power equals K times the current. So my equation or formula is going to look like that. P equals KC. It says, okay, what power is lost in a 6 amp resistor carrying a 3 amp current? I've done something incorrectly. It says varies directly as the square of the current. I missed that. So it should be squared. Okay. So now it says what power? Power. Now here it's kind of a little bit tricky, but they tell us K. They tell us the constant of proportionality or the variation constant, because it says the constant is the resistance, and it says it's lost in a 6 ohm resistor. So K is 6, C is 3. So then we get 6 times 9, 54, and that's watts. Let me go back to the other screen for a moment. So again, it says the square of the current, which I missed the first time around. And then it says resistance in ohms. So then here, 6 ohm resistor, that is K. Remember, all you Star Trek fans, resistance is futile. Okay, that's an old one. All right, we okay with 16 or not? Any questions there? Okay, we're going to go on to 17, which says, let's see here, the pressure of a certain amount of gas is directly proportional to the temperature measured in Kelvin scale and inversely proportional to the volume. So here we have 2 different kinds of variation going on in the same situation. You're right, I did not talk about that yesterday. So we can have a combination sort of thing. So the pressure, P, is directly proportional to the temperature, so K times T, and inversely proportional to the volume, so volume is on the bottom. So again, let me show you what I've got as a formula. All right, it says the pressure of a certain amount of gas, so that's P, is directly proportional to the temperature, so we've got KT up on top, directly proportional, variation of direct variation, and inversely proportional to the volume. So the V is in the denominator. All right. Any questions before we go on here? Okay, let's see. A sample of gas at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So that's pressure. Let's see. So P is going to be 1. We don't know what K is yet. Occupies a volume of 1 cubic meter. So the volume would be 1 at a temperature of 196. Let's see here. when heated, the gas expands to twice its volume, but the pressure remains constant to what temperature is it heated? All right, so we need to figure out what K is. Okay, so let's go back and look at my formula. So the pressure of a certain amount of gas is directly proportional to the temperature, blah, blah, blah. A sample of gas at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So here's the pressure, that's the 1. K we don't know yet. Occupies a volume of 1 cubic meter. So there's the volume at a temperature of 196 Kelvin. All right. So basically I've got what 1 equals 196 K. If we divide both sides by 196, K equals 1 over 196. So that means P equals 1 over 196 T all divided by V. We still okay? It says when heated, the gas expands to twice its volume, but the pressure remains constant. To what temperature is it heated? All right, so let's see. The gas expands to twice its volume, and its volume, let's see, is now going to be 2 cubic meters. The pressure remains the same, it says, so that's still going to be 1. And then we got 1 over 196 times T. So let me show you that. Okay, come on, here we go. So here's my formula. Okay, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I've got 2 equals 1 over 196 T. Okay, because the 2's here would reduce out. We okay so far? Any questions there? I know this one was a little confusing. What do you do when you want to get rid of a coefficient and it's a fraction? Does anybody remember what you do? I'll take that as a no. Instead of dividing both sides by it, you multiply both sides by its reciprocal. So on the left, I get 392, 2 times 196. On the right, the 196 and the 196 reduce out. I have 1 times T over 1. That's it, over 1. So I get T. So the temperature is 392 degrees. Let's see, degrees Kelvin. All right. Any questions on that one? Okay, now we're going to look at some review problems. 9, number 23. Okay, wait a second. I didn't click on the right one, my bad. Review. There we go. All right. Here. Some of the questions people asked were the same question, and I don't know if they have the same numbers or not. So if I do one that I've already done, please let me know. All right, so this is problem number 23 in the chapter review, and let's take a look at it. Okay. Solve the absolute value equation. So we've got, let's see, absolute value of 4 times the quantity 1 minus x plus 1 all over 4 equals the absolute value of the quantity 5x minus 2 all over 5. All right. So now, oops, that's not what I wanted. Hang on here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean up the inside of the absolute value on the left. Oh, but before that, note we've got two absolute value expressions, so we want them separated on each side of the equal sign. They already are. But the one on the left, if I distribute, I'm going to get let's see, I think I left out a parentheses right there. Yeah, I'm going to get 4 minus 4x plus 1. But I can simplify that even further and write it as negative 4x plus 5. So all I did was simplify, distribute the 4 on the left side inside the absolute value bars. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this and go on with the problem. I think I'm actually going to recopy that on the next page, this thing right here, so that I have a full page to work with. So give me just a second here. Negative 4x plus 5. So we've got negative 4x plus 5 all over 4 equals 5x minus 2 over 5. 5x minus 2 over 5. So have I got that copied correctly? Okay, I think so. So now, since we've got two absolute values, one equation is going to be what's inside on the left equals what's inside on the right, or what's inside on the left equals the opposite of what's inside on the right. So those are going to be the two equations, the basis of my possible two solutions. Any questions so far? All right. Left equation, I'm going to clear the fractions by multiplying both sides by the LCD, which is 20. On the left side, 20 over 4 is 5, so I have 5 times the quantity, negative 4x plus 5. On the right side, 20 over 5 is 4, so I have 4 times the quantity, 5x minus 2. So I've cleared the fractions. Again, any questions there? All right, on the left side, distributing, negative 20x plus 25 equals 20x minus 8. I'm going to solve for x on the left. Subtracting 20x from both sides, I get negative 40x plus 25 equals negative 8. Subtracting 25 from both sides, I get negative 40x equals negative 33. Divide by negative 40, and I get x equals 33 over 40. So there's one possible solution. Again, any questions so far? All right, let's do the one on the right side. Again, the LCD is 20. Let's see here. So 20 over 4 is 5, so I have 5 times negative 4x plus 5. On the right, 20 over 5 is 4, so I have, now I got to be careful here, this minus sign gets attached to the whole thing, so I'm going to go minus 4 times the 5x minus 2. Are you okay with what I just did there? All right. So now I've got negative 20x plus 25 equals negative 20x plus 8. I'm going to solve for x on the left, so I'm going to add 20x to both sides, and I get 25 equals 8. Oh, 25 doesn't equal 8, does it? So there's no solution for this one. Now, that means that this is the only correct solution. So this one doesn't work, but if you said no solution, that might imply that there weren't any at all, but there was the one. Do you want me to go through and check my work?
Wait, so if there's no solution for that one, then how is, okay.
This one is a solution to this scenario. This
Oh,
So we actually only got one of the two solutions to work. Actually, this one didn't even have a solution.
Okay, so just this one works.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So again, do you want me to check the work or keep going?
Keep going.
Yeah, we're
Thank you.
good.
What's that?
We're good.
You don't have to suffer through the 5 hours of doing it.
have.
I understand. Okay, let's see. That takes care of the first person. So now we're going to go back and let's see, this one is 4765. And here. And we're going to start with 8.9. I'm curious because this person that asked for 8.9 got them correct. I think I'm going to skip that and come back to it if we have time later. So in that case, let's go to this. And start with number 9. And I know you can't see them yet. Just give me a minute here. Okay. So now we're going to take a look. This is in the chapter review, number 9. In a proposal to some prospective clients, a housing contractor listed the following cost: fees, permits, and miscellaneous, $13,000. Construction per square foot, $75. Write a linear function that the client could use to determine the cost of a building having F square feet. All right, so, and it has C of F given, where F is, let's see, what is F? F is the number of square feet and C is the cost. All right, now it says that it costs $13,000 plus $75 per square foot. Okay, so the $13,000, that is a one-time fixed cost. The $75 per square foot is going to change depending on how many square feet. So from that, your equation would become C of F equals 75F plus 13,000. And let me look at that. So this is what's known as a fixed cost. That's a one-time cost. This is a variable cost. It varies as the number of square feet change. So we get this function. Any questions about that? All right, and that's part A. Then part B, there's a follow-up question. It says, find the cost of a building to build a home having 1,730 square feet. So what they want us to do is they want us to find C of 1,730 square feet. So that becomes 75 times 1,730 plus 13,000. And punching that into the calculator, let's see, 75 times 1,730 is 129,750, and then plus 13,000 becomes 142,750. So the cost of building a house with 1,730 square feet is $142,750. Any questions on that? All right, that takes us to number 15 on the chapter review. We good to go on? I'll take that as a yes. Okay, so now we're going to look at this problem. Find the solution set of the compound inequality. Okay, this is number 15, and we have 7/3 x plus 1/5 less than 7, and 3x plus 3 greater than 15. Okay, back to our working screen. So the first inequality on the left, I'm going to clear the fractions. I'm going to multiply both sides by 15. So on the left, I get 15 times 7/3 x plus 15 times 1/5 less than 15 times 7, which is what? 105. Okay, going through and simplifying, 15 over 3 is 5, so I get 35x plus 15 over 5 is 3 plus 3 less than 105. Subtract 3 from both sides, 35x less than 102. Divide both sides by 35x less than, let's see, 35, 5 goes in and 7 goes in. 5 does not go into 102 evenly. 7, I don't think 7 goes in evenly either. So basically, we're just going to leave it as 102 over 35 so far. Okay? Any questions on that part? Tell you what, if there's any questions, just interrupt, stop me and ask the question. Otherwise, I'll just keep going along. All right, the second, go ahead.
No, I was just affirming you.
Okay, 3x plus 3 greater than 15. It's nice to be affirmed once in a while. So subtracting 3 from both sides, 3x greater than 12, divide by 3x greater than 4, bring down this and. So here's what we're going to deal with right there. That's not the answer. That's kind of the start of the problem. I'm going to take that and recopy it on the next page so I have a full page to work with. 102 over 35. So x is less than 102 over 35, and x is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. All right. I'm going to look at the graph of each of these to get a better picture of what's going on. Now, if I take 102, let's see, 102 divided by 35, I get 2.9 something. Okay, so would you agree that it's a little less than 3? So it's it's like right about here, and then we're going here. And I know this isn't super accurate, but you'll see why it doesn't matter in a minute. Okay, x greater than 4. Would look like this. But what does and mean? Is it union or intersection? Intersection. Is there any intersection of these two graphs?
No.
So there's no solution. That's why I wasn't concerned about how accurately I graphed that part. Okay. Let's see. That takes us to number 21, I think. Yeah, 21. Let's see. That. All right. So here, let's see, we're still in the chapter review. This is number 21. Again, if I do a problem that I've already done with the same numbers, please let me know. Solve the absolute value equation. So we've got 2 times the absolute value of 3x plus 1 minus 1 equals 29. Okay. So I want to isolate the single absolute value. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Now I'm ready to start the problem. So what's inside the absolute value either equals what's outside, or what's inside equals the opposite of what's outside. So there's my two equations. The equation on the left, I'll subtract 1. 3x is 14. Divide by 3, x is 14/3. The equation on the right side, subtract 1. 3x is -16. Divide by 3, x is -16/3. All right. So there's your two answers. Do you want me to check my work or go on? I guess that means go on. Okay. Now we're going to go back here and take a look at number 22. And let's see, we've got the absolute value of 4 minus x over 8 equals -3. Okay, now, here it says solve the absolute value equation, use the answer, enter your answers as a comma separate list. If an answer does not exist, enter D in E. Can an absolute value equal a negative number?
No.
So is there an answer?
No.
Right. So basically, we could go through and find it and check it and see that it doesn't work. But based on what they're asking, you would put D and E, does not exist. All right with that? Okay. We're going to take a look at number 24. The property tax of a certain county varies directly as assessed valuation. So tax equals K V. We're going to use T for tax and V for assessed valuation. Okay, so from that, I'm getting this. The property tax varies directly, so T equals K, and then I'm letting V be assessed valuation, all right? If a tax of $1,545 is charged, so $1,545 is charged on a single family home assessed at $81,000, okay? So there's that starting information that allows us to determine, okay, I would divide both sides by $81,000. All right, so K equals, let's see, 1,545 divided by 81,000. It comes out with some nasty, awful number. So I'm just going to leave it as 1,545 over 81,000. Now, I could reduce that. For instance, I can take a 5 out. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to leave it as that big number. Okay? So now T equals 1,545 over 81,000 times V. Okay? It says determine the property tax on an apartment complex assessed at $394,200. So that's the value. So T equals 1,545 over 81,000 times $394,200. Okay. So we get this scenario. So now it's calculator time. 1,545 times 394,200 divided by 81,000 comes out to exactly $7,500. $519. So that would be the tax. Okay?
Mhm.
All righty. And let's see here. We're going to take a look at 25 on this chapter review. For a fixed voltage, the current in electrical circuit varies inversely as the resistance of the circuit. If a certain circuit, can you say certain circuit current, has a current of 3.5 amps, when the resistance is 110 ohms, find the current, find the current in the circuit when the resistance is doubled. Okay, so let's see. For a fixed voltage, the current, so C, varies inversely as the resistance of the current. So I've got C equals K over R, where C is current and R is resistance. Okay, so my formula looks like that. The current varies inversely as the resistance. If a certain circuit has a current of 3.5 amps, so 3.5, when the resistance is 110 ohms, okay, so that gives me that scenario. Let's see, I need to solve for K. The first thing I think I'm going to do, I'm going to change 3.5 to 3.5, okay? Now, what would you do to solve for K in this case?
Multiply by 110 on each side, right?
Correct. Oops,
Awesome.
10. So let's see, K equals, we've got 3.5 times 110, which is 385. So now we've got C equals 385 over R, okay? It says, find the current when the resistance is doubled. Well, the resistance was 110 ohms. So what am I going to put in for the resistance now?
The number, wait, 220 or 220, right?
Right, 2 times 110, so 220. Okay. So now we've got the current is 385 divided by 220, which is 1.75, and that is amps. Okay. Now we're going to, let's see here, 4770. Number 8.9. Number 11. Okay. So this is 8.9. Number 11. Solve the problem by writing a variation model. An object in free fall travels a distance s that is directly proportional. Again, they use the word variation and proportional interchangeably, and I wish they wouldn't, but they do that. Travels the distance s that is directly proportional to the square of the time. So s equals k t squared. Where did I get k? Remember, k is always there in all these formulas. Okay, so s equals k times t squared, which is going to look like that. Okay. It says if an object falls 960 feet, so that's S, in 8 seconds, so T is 8, but then we get 960 equals 8 squared, 64K. Divide both sides by 64, and we get 960 divided by 64, which is 15. So now S equals 15 T squared, okay? And then it says, how far will it fall in 10 seconds? So S equals 15 times 10 squared, which is 15 times 100, which is 1,500 feet. So there's number 11. We good to go on? All right. Number 15. The cost of a trucking company varies jointly as the number of trucks and the number of hours they used. We've done this problem, but it was different numbers. So we've got the cost equals K times trucks times hours. So cost equals KTH. Okay, when 5 trucks are used for 6 hours each. So when 5 trucks are used for 6 hours each, the cost is $2,220, which means $2,220 equals 30 times K. Dividing both sides by 30, we take 2220 divided by 30, which gives us 74. So C equals 74 TH. All right. Find the cost of using 10 trucks, each for 12 hours. So C equals 74 times 10 times 12. Which is going to be, let's see here, 74 times 10 times 12. The cost is $8,880. Okay. And that takes us to, let's see, chapter review. And we're going to take a look at number 22. Okay. So solve the absolute value equation. 7 minus x over 4 equals -9. Can an absolute value equal a negative number?
No.
So the solution does not exist. You're supposed to write D and E in capital letters. And I see that this person got that correct, but they still wanted to look at it. That's okay. So does not exist would be the correct answer for number 22. Okay. Let's see here. How are we doing for time? We've got 6 minutes. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 23, and that's probably going to be about as far as we'll get. We did one very similar to this earlier, different numbers, but the same idea. So I've got 6 times the quantity 1 minus x plus 1 all over 6 equals absolute value of 7x minus 2 all over 7. First thing I'm going to do is simplify inside the left absolute value. So I'm going to get 6 minus 6x plus 1, which becomes -6x plus 7 all over 6 equals 7x minus 2 all over 7, again in absolute value bars. Okay. So I'm going to get -6x plus 7 all over 6 equals 7x minus 2 over 7, or -6x plus 7 all over 6 equals the opposite of 7x minus 2 all over 7. Okay. And once again, I think I'm going to copy those on the next page. So give me a minute here. Negative 6x plus 7 all over 6 equals 7x minus 2 over 7, 7x minus 2 over 7, or negative 6x plus 7 over 6 equals the opposite of the quantity 7x minus 2 over 7. Okay. So LCD of the first equation. What's the LCD of 6 and 7? Anybody? Oh dear. The LCD of 6 and 7. What's the smallest number 6 and 7 both go into?
That's 30.
42.
42. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry, I was zoning out for a second. Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
42.
Apparently we all were. It's Monday. It's midweek Monday, known as Wednesday. Okay. So 42 over 6 is 7. 42 over 7 is 6. So I've got 7 times the quantity, negative 6x plus 7 equals 6 times the quantity, 7x minus 2, which then becomes negative 42x plus 49 equals 42x minus 12. I'm going to subtract 42x from both sides. Negative 84x plus 49 equals negative 12. I'm going to subtract 49. Negative 84x equals negative, what is that, 61? Divide both sides by negative 84, and we get x equals 61 over 84. That's supposed to be an 84. Over here, 42, 42, 42 over 6 is 7, so I've got 7 times negative 6x plus 7 equals 42 over 7 is 6, negative 6 times 7x minus 2. So I get negative 42x plus 49, distributing the 7, equals negative 42x plus 12. Add 42x to both sides, and we get 49 equals 12, which it doesn't, so there's no solution there. So that's the only solution. Okay. I have 2 minutes. I'm going to go on and do one more of these problems if you're ready to go on. And we'll take that as a yes. I'm going to look at number 24, which is right here. Property tax of a certain county or country varies directly as assessed valuation. So we're going to say tax equals KV. Varies directly. All right. It says if a tax of $15.90 is charged, so $15.90 is charged on a home assessed at $90,000. That's enough information to give us K. We'll divide both sides by $90,000. So K equals 1590 over 90,000. Again, I could reduce that, but I'm not going to bother. So T equals 1590 over 90,000. If they were asking us for K just specifically, then I would reduce that. But since I'm just going to be multiplying it, determine property tax on a complex that's assessed at $438,000. So we're going to take 1590 times 438,000 divided by 90000, and we come up with $7,738. Oh, look at the time. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording.